Hello, everybody. Can everybody see and hear me? Can I get some hellos? Hi from Colorado. I don't know what you're saying hello to each other. We see and hear. Hello. Good. Let's commence. Well, the country has just gone to shit, so fish will clench and teeth will grip. There's fuck all we can do about it, so fuck it, it's Christmas. Well, look at the cheats and labor rules. Let the lion cheat to rule, but there's no one gonna spoil my Yule, so fuck it, it's Christmas. Fuck it, it's Christmas, although it hurts to think. Fuck it, it's Christmas, let's numb our brains with food and drink. But God rest ye angry gentlemen, January will fight again. Let's just say from now till then, fuck it, it's Christmas. Fuck it, it's Christmas. Fuck it, it's Christmas. F-U-C-K-I-T-I-T apostrophe S, Christmas! Fuck it. Hello. That, you may remember, was my 2019 Christmas album. When Boris had just won a 90-seat majority and I was not feeling very well disposed to, anything, really. So, yes, that was my 2019 Christmas album. And hello! It's occurred to me, do we think I'm jumping the gun a bit doing the doing the Christmas thing on, what is it, the 7th? Yeah, fortunately can't do it tomorrow on Thursday because I'm busy. Simon, you've missed nothing, mate. You've missed nothing. Seriously, we've only just started. Because I actually looked and checked last year, and last year I think I did it in like sort of in the middle of December, did it about the 13th or 14th. But anyway, I was just wondering if maybe we think that this is a bit early in the month. But no, are we okay with? Well, it's too bloody late now, isn't it? I don't really know why I'm bothering to ask, but I'm assuming you're all okay with me doing this on the 7th, not jumping the gun, says Merman. Thank you. That's all I needed to hear. So, as long as it's December, yes, that is my rule. That is my rule. My rule is once you're in December, all bets are off as regards Christmas. You can do whatever you like Christmassy. Nothing Christmassy until December. And then once you're in December, only Christmassy things. That's what I mean. Your tree went up. Well done, Hayden. My tree is not yet up. As you can probably see, I don't really have much in the way of decorations up yet. I've yet to get my tree. I'll probably get it sometime in the next week or so. Partly because, well, I live in quite a tiny flat. and first of all, I've been quite lucky the last couple of years, but the space available for my tree, I've really only got sort of like about 18 inches out from the wall that I can really put the tree in. So I'm always on the lookout for a sort of an elliptical tree, one that is much sort of wider from side to side than it is thick front to back. So I can still actually use my living room because there's really not that much room in here at all. So, I kind of put it up, not necessarily the absolute last minute, but I usually leave it a bit, have a half tree. Yes, semicircular. Your birthday's in December, so it's not Christmas time. When is your birthday, Simon? He'll tell us in a minute. My birthday's in January. Oh, your birthday's on Friday. Happy birthday, everybody, Simon, for Friday. Shall we? Why the hell not? Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday for Friday for Simon. Happy birthday for you. There you go. It's so long since I've done the Distraction Club that when Mike and Sue just referred to the DC Christmas special, I was thinking, there's a DC Christmas special? Wow. I know they put James Gunn in charge, but wow, that guy moves fast. Sorry, just one for the comic book nerds. But I asked for requests, and you have all been very forthcoming with the requests. Fuck it is. Who asked for Fuck it is Christmas? John Tomlinson asked for Fuck it is Christmas. I hope he was here on time because I've opened it. And if you can teach it to, the family will be pleased. It's in E. It's dead simple. E again. And again. That's simple. Then F7, F sharp 7th. It's dead simple. Then the only other thing, which is there's a sneaky A minor in the code is fuck it is Christmas. Fuck it is Christmas. Fuck it is Christmas. F-U-C-K-I-T apostrophe S, Christmas! This is dead simple, John, if you want to learn how to play that. That's something I could do, isn't it? I could do little online tutorials for who wants to play more songs. Would anybody want that? Would anybody interested in little online tutorials? And something we could nominate for future live streams, maybe, if you all agree on one, then yeah, I could show you how to play one. But there you go. So thank you very much, John, and I'm glad you were here on time for that. That's good. Yeah, that is something I could organize via Patreon. In the meantime, a few of you asked for this one, and this is one that I wrote back in the noughties. I think it was a Now Show song. It's definitely on the Christmas album. Those of you who don't know, I think most of you do know by now. If you go to my Bandcamp site, which is mitchbenn.bandcamp.com, again, very easy to find. My online stuff is, by and large, very easy to find. My Christmas album, which is called Christmas Whether You Like It or Not, after one of the tracks, it expands every year. Every year I write another song for it and add another track. So at the moment, I haven't done that for this year's yet. So it's still called Christmas Whether You Like It or Not 2021. I have an idea for a new track for it, but which is hopefully going to go up in about the next week or so. But it doesn't really matter because it's free these days anyway. I have two Christmassy things up at my Bandcamp site. I've got the Christmas album. And I've also got my complete unabridged reading of Charles Dickens' A Christmas Carol, which I made a long time ago now. I made that in 2007. And those are both up for download. I used to have the Dickens for free because I figure I can't really charge money for that. It's not like I own it. But the other one used to cost money, but not anymore. Ever since 2020, because we're having such a miserable time, I put them both up for free. And such is the niceness of my audience in general, I actually make more money off the Christmas album since I put it up for free than when I was charging money for it. Because it's not actually free, it's like minimum price nil, but you can choose to pay if you so desire. So yeah, what I've discovered is more people download it and slip me a couple of quid now that it's free than used to download it when it costs money. So there's a message there. Not entirely sure what it is, but there's a message there. But anyway, but yes, this is one that I wrote a long time ago, I think back in the noughties, and it may even have become life as a Now Show song, as a lot of the stuff on the album did. But if anything, it's probably more relevant now than ever. This is very much the cost of living crisis Christmas anthem. Let me just see if I can tighten that up a bit so it doesn't slowly drip down at you. Okay, this is called Broke the Bank This Christmas. It's meant to be a kind of a Phil Spector thing, but you're going to have to imagine all that, I'm afraid. It's here at last, it's Merry Christmas, all year long we wait for it. And it's gonna be another long year by the time we pay for it. We got all the trees are gone, all the meals all ready for the celebration. And we got a Visa bill like Elton John and an overdraft like a third world nation. So in John Kentucky, my son and daughter, cause once it's gone you run, bread and water, cause we pretty much broke the bank for you this Christmas. So let's open our presents and watch the telly and try not to think about January, cause I'm gonna pay for this Merry Christmas with a Happy New Year in January. But the pudding's blazing, the tree is glistening, the beer and the champagne are fizzing. So let's raise a glass and make a promise to come and see your daddy and Dad's presents. So eat and be merry, drink and get rescue. Hope that the house doesn't get repossessed. You know we pretty much broke the bank for you this Christmas. Someone will visit tonight without fail. If we're lucky, it's Santa. If not, it's the bailiffs. We pretty much broke the bank for you. We don't expect a word of thanks from you. We pretty much broke the bank from you this Christmas. This Christmas. This Christmas. That's the one. Nicer. Yes, that one's probably rather more relevant than we'd like just at the moment. Song about coal mines opening. Is that happening? I have not really been watching the news today. The coal mines are reopening. Wow. Okay. So, wow, all that grief in the 80s was worthwhile then. So there you go. That's yes, that's the pleading poverty at Christmas song. Reese Mogg is jizzing himself to death. Yes, I bet he is. He's probably going to have like 12-year-olds down there at the first possible opportunity. All right, let's have yes. Okay. Hello, Kathy. Kathy has requested a bunch, so we'll do. Actually, no, we'll do that one a bit later. We'll do the. Actually, I really. That's better. This is a song I wrote about 3 or 4 years ago, picking up on an aspect of the Christmas story, as in the original Christmas stories in the Nativity, that I'd never really heard anybody flag up before, but which I think is kind of an issue. But anyway. That's right, I couldn't remember how it starts. The shepherds had returned to their fields, their flocks to mind. The 3 wise men had gone again and left their gifts behind. Mary lay upon the snow, looking on the hay. And then there was no one in the stable but the angel Gabriel. I'm sorry, I've forgotten the words to this. That's so weird. I didn't bother to write them down because I only read it a couple of weeks ago. Give us a minute and I will come back to that one later on. I'm going to set one corner of my brain to try and remember the words. What it is I remember all the words to the chorus because the chorus is where all the jokes are, but I can't remember. Oh, that's really magic. Okay, just a second. A corner of my brain is going to devote itself to trying to remember the beginning of Gabriel's blessing. Okay. Okay, well, we'll come back to that one because I really like that one. But in the meantime, here's another one that Kathy requested, I think, which is, oh, yeah. This has yet to become an issue, but it usually becomes an issue sometime in about February, actually. That's one of the really annoying things about Britain is that it never snows in December. It's not that it never snows. It's that it never snows when you want it to. You know, you really want it to snow in December. Snow in December is fun. It's jingly. It's seasonal. But it always snows in, like, February. Snow in February is just shit weather. That's all it is. But anyway, this is a song about our national sort of spasm that we always have whenever this happens. Oh, the weather outside is ominous, and as we close the window we know soon Jack Frost's little bombers will be bombing us, and the British can't handle the snow. In Europe and America they winter rough, and about the normal business they go. But here there ain't no part of life that it won't interrupt, 'cause the British can't handle the snow. Soon our coach will be jammed, our grids will be closing, our pavements and our pipes and our pension is frozen. What a great excuse to all get lazy, useless and vague. It's just a bit of snow, it's not a biblical plague. We never get prepared because it never happens here. Ask any Briton, they will tell you so. And we'll be just as ready when it comes again next year, 'cause the British can't handle the snow. Well, mainly the British can't handle the snow. The Scots are better, it's the English who can handle the snow. That's that. It is true, actually. Every year we get like at least 1 day of 6-foot snowdrift, and it brings the country to an entire standstill. And when we say, why are we never prepared for this? The answer is, well, because it never happens. It's magnificent British logic, isn't it? Anyway, the Scots can't either. The close of main motor in 2010. Yeah, I know, but somehow they seem a bit more prepared for it than the English do. Well, interesting. I'm not sure it actually snows. The main difference between England and Scotland is not really how cold it is; it's how dark it gets. And that's the main difference I used to notice between living down here and when I used to live up there. Is that by this time of year in Scotland, it's dark by about 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And the sun doesn't really come up till about 10:30 in the morning. It's so the sun is literally above the horizon for about 4 hours a day. And something I used to notice, actually, when I used to live in Scotland was that I ended up wearing shades more in the winter than in the summer, because on the few occasions that you could actually see the sun in the winter, it was about 10 degrees off the horizon. So if you happened to be facing towards it, it was actually glaring you right in the eyes. It wasn't up there, it was like right there. So yeah, I used to find myself wearing shades a lot. And in Edinburgh in particular, where I used to live, Edinburgh, I swear, is on the junction of about 3 or 4 different weather systems. Gritter names map. Okay, I can't click on that right now, Duncan. I'm sure you understand, but you guys want to click on that, you go right ahead. Edinburgh, I think, is on the cusp of like 3 or 4 overlapping weather systems, where, you know, it's not so much changeable as completely reversible. I mean, I remember one day many years ago now, when I was still living in Edinburgh, so back in the 90s, it was like March or April or something, and I woke up and it was this really bright, warm spring morning. You know, it was about 16, 17 degrees. So I went outside in my shirt sleeves, and at about 3 o'clock in the afternoon, I got snowed on. Not rained on. That can happen bloody anywhere. I got actually snowed on. So anyway, so this is the other one. This is the other one that Kathy requested, and I didn't do it right away because it's very similar title-wise to the one I opened with, and it is kind of the successor to the one I opened with, because this was my 2020 Christmas song when we were all coming to the end of what we all hoped was going to be the most miserable year that any of us ever had to live through. And I guess it's still just about winning. Actually, 2020, isn't it? But so anyway, we go. Thank fuck it's Christmas. Thank fuck it's here. At the end of this pitiless struggle for raging bin fire of a year. It felt like 2020 would never end. Though obviously nothing has changed, it's a damn good excuse to pretend. Thank fuck it's Christmas. That's what I said. Everyone's beat up and stressed out, and quite a few of us are dead. Our torment's unending, like we've angered the gods. I guess it's a chance that next year will be better, but what are the odds? We've another brief interlude of peace, pudding, and presents. Make the most of it, folks, because before you know it, it's gone. The whole world is taken in need of a long convalescence. So let's start with some booze and food and you stop oblivion. Thank fuck it's Christmas. Thank fuck indeed. Cause a couple of days from all of the bullshit is what we all need. Eat, drink, and be merry, but take care of yourselves. Cause the dangers are clear, so no passing the buck. Happy New Year, you shit out of luck, so be a good cheer. So I'll say thank fuck it's Christmas. There you go. That's that one. It's funny, that one doesn't really work when it's got silence at the end of it. I'm imagining rapturous applause, which I assume is happening. But yes, there you go. It's funny, yes, Kathy just said you might need another fisherman's friend, and I was just getting one out of my pocket. I find these are immensely helpful on stage. I know the ones you're meant to use are vocal zones, but I actually find the fisherman's friends work better. Weird that, isn't it? Anyway, so yes, I have a habit of going to my local chemist when I'm on tour and sort of buying up all the fisherman's friends that they've got. Thank you for typing the word clap. Oh, you guys, you're the nicest. You really are. Okay. Here's another one, which I don't think I've ever done live, but somebody requested this, and I know that this is a sentiment shared by a lot of people. Here's the thing. I know that not everybody likes Christmas. I do. I'm a big gooey, silly sausage as regards Christmas. I really am. And I just, I just love it. I get very, very silly about the whole thing. I entirely respect people who don't for whatever reason. But something which I think doesn't really help is when they start playing the Christmas songs in the stores in like the middle of October. And actually, you know what? Something which I think is actually taking a bit of the edge off of that in recent years, well, say recent years, recent decades, is the it was nice to see you in the community, Brighton, as well. Thank you. Something which I think has actually helped with that a bit is the rise of American Halloween. Because, I don't know, those of you similar vintage to myself, we didn't do any of that shit in Halloween. We didn't do trick-or-treating. We didn't do dressing up. We didn't do any of that. We stayed at home and tried to get apples out of buckets of water using only our face. That was what British Halloween consisted of. Or try to buy apples on sticks. A lot of apples. A lot of stupid games involving apples. And that was it. That was what you did on Halloween. And I think the turning point for Halloween in this country was when E.T. came out in 1982. And I think we all watched the scene of, the whole neighborhood going out dressed up and them using that as an excuse to get E.T. out of the house by pretending it's Drew Barrymore under a sheet. I think that was the moment at which the children of our nation just went, wait a cotton picking minute. That looks like a hell of a lot more fun than trying to eat apples with your face. And I think that was the moment that American Halloween really caught on in this country. And I think that has pushed back the commercial beginnings of Christmas by a few weeks. Because I remember when I was a kid that, the Christmas displays would go up in the department stores in September. And now what happens is the Halloween displays go up at the end of September. And because we've got a whole nother festival to milk now, the Halloween displays go up at the end of September, and there's Halloween stuff for the whole of October, and the Christmas stuff doesn't really begin now till the beginnings of November, at which point I can more or less handle it. So I think Halloween has actually pushed back the beginnings of British Christmas. Wonder if in America, because of course they've got Thanksgiving in the meantime as well. But no, I know Christmas is insanely commercial in America. I'm just wondering, maybe some American friends can answer. I don't know to what extent Thanksgiving is like a commercialized holiday, because I know, roughly speaking, what happens. But above and beyond buying in the stuff for the dinner, which to a British person strikes us as remarkably similar to Christmas dinner, it's weird that you seem to have sort of more or less the same stuff. Like basically you got two Christmases within a month of each other right at the end of the year. But above and beyond that, because I don't think there's anything like the same tradition of present buying, I don't know if Thanksgiving is as commercial an occasion as Christmas is, because that would be really odd if you didn't, because I know that's why Black Friday exists, because Black Friday was invented as an American retail thing to try and jumpstart the Christmas buying rush by having a couple of days of sales right after Thanksgiving to get people back into the stores. And the weird thing is we have, as we eventually do with all American traditions, we've adopted it here as well. But it serves no purpose, because we don't have a Thanksgiving to try and kickstart our retail industry up again after. That's what it was there for, and it doesn't serve any purpose. But for some reason, we now have Black Friday, which is annoying to those of us in the comedians business, because we've had a Black Friday for years, and it's the second to last Friday before Christmas. In this instance, it'll be the 16th. And I am doing a gig on the 16th, and I couldn't remember where it was. Let me see now. I'll have a look at where it is. It's just a club gig. It's I haven't got it written down. Hang on. It'll be in the email from Tony Vino. It doesn't matter. I have a couple of clubs. They're my last gigs of the year, actually. A couple for a mate of mine called Tony Vino, who sounds like something from The Sopranos, but he's not. Hang on. Actually, it's in a WhatsApp, isn't it? So yeah, I'm doing a couple of those just at the end of the year. Here we go. What is it? Yes, Luton. Luton. Yeah, that's yeah. Well, it's money. It's what it is. So yeah, that's going to be yeah. I agreed to. I was doing the 14th for him, and then he asked if I could do the 16th as well. And yeah. Anyway, Luton. Oh man, I've done some interesting gigs in Luton. It used to be a place in Luton called Venue 27. There was just this big ass nightclub, and I did 3 comedy gigs at it. And on every occasion, a fight started in the audience while I was on. Not with any not because of me, not directed at me, and not with what you say, bang, and over the table went, and I'd be standing there going, "Oh, you need is love." Anyway, my American friend said that Thanksgiving is bigger than Christmas in our family. Well, until very recently, Hogmanay was a much bigger deal than Christmas in Scotland, and I think it still is in certain parts of Scotland. The Scots, until fairly recently, they didn't really get the big deal about Christmas, because the big festival for them was New Year's Eve, was Hogmanay. So there you go. Anyway, we were doing I was trying to queue up a song, wasn't I? Which is why we're all here. So anyway, here we go. I don't think I've ever done this one live. So let's see how we get on, shall we? But this, yeah. Now is the season at this time of year, pouring out your doorways, pouring in your ears. Every radio station through each silent night. If you have to play these things, try to get it right. Please just play the good Christmas songs. You know which ones I mean. Don't bend my ears with Mariah Carey or E17. Just play Fairy Tale of New York and we will get along. But if you play the Roland Keating version, I might just stop someone. Hey, Mr. Storm Manager, radio DJ, stick to Stop the Cavalry. We might just be okay. I'm sure that we can compromise. I'm sure we can play fair. Give me Jethro Tull, I'll give you Walking in the Air. Please just play the good Christmas songs. Have a little soul. Play the Spectre album. Play some Nat King Cole. Play the nice Mike Oldfield one. You get it, the idea. Don't ruin it with Boney M and that one by Chris Rea. When December comes around, we greet it by familiar sounds. Some bring memories, some bring cheers, some make you want to cut off your ears. Please just play the good Christmas songs. Have some standards, please. You don't need to play every track on your Christmas compilation CDs. Well, I will never do this live. Give us Slade and Wizard. The darkness will be fine. Don't even think about mistletoe and wine. All the wumbles. Oh, there's no one quite like Grandma. There you go. Yeah, I think I figured out why I don't do that one live. That's right at the top of the range. So there you go. Evidently, I had a bit more confidence in my upper registers when I wrote some of these. There you go. That's A flat. That's not quite. There was an A in Broke the Bank. That's the highest note I ever picture myself. Is that one? It's the highest note I will ever write for myself. I've occasionally, very occasionally, hit a B, but I'm not going to try and do it now. I'm determined to get Gabriel's blessing right. Okay, so that's a bit. Okay, we're going to give Gabriel's blessing a go, all right? The shepherds had returned to their fields, their flocks to mind. The three wise men had gone again and left their gifts behind. Mary slept upon the straw and Joseph did as well. There was no one in the stable but the angel Gabriel. He stood invisible twixt the cows, then knelt upon the hay. Looked down upon the Savior where the infant Jesus lay. Then trickling down his face came a single golden tear. Then bent he low and spake just so into the Savior's ear. You're not gonna like how it ends, kid, you're not gonna like how it goes. I've seen the plan of your old man, and frankly the ending blows. The good news is good news is you get superpowers, but unfortunately, you won't have them long. It all goes wrong when you are 33. You're not gonna like how it ends, kid. You won't enjoy the last bit. I might have dipped into the script and there's thorns and whips and nails and shit, but there's a twist. Before you're missed, you'll come back to surprise your friends. But until you do, you must go through a really bad weekend. It's though it seems like it's years away, but time can go so fast. So baby boy, try to enjoy this part while it lasts. There you go. Yes, got there. Knew it. I knew that I had. That's the trouble. Sometimes you think, yes, I know all this bit, but then you forget the preparatory stuff that you get to. Yes, who's that? I'm saying that. Yes, Kit, I did do Broke the Bank. I've done that already, but I'll upload this and then you can have a look at it. And by the way, you do know that if you go back to the login, you can still watch this. Even once it's all done, you don't actually have to watch it live. Obviously, it's fun to watch it live because, you get to put messages in the can. But there you go. So, yeah. Yes, let's do this. I think we can all relate to this one. Who was it who asked for this one? Where are we? I've got your messages on my phone here. Oh, this is another one from Kathy, I think. Yes. So anyway. My Christmas dinner is over, and my 37th mince pie. Now I'm lying on the sofa, and I may just be here till I die. I try to move, but to no avail. I look and feel like a stranded whale. Think I might have overdone it a bit this Christmas. I feel like a ship that's run aground. It's way too heavy to float. EastEnders is on the telly now, and I can't even reach the remote. If this Alka-Seltzer doesn't work, I'll go up like the Hindenburg. Think I might have overdone it a bit this Christmas. And the crazy thing is, by 10:30, I know I'm gonna be hungry again. I might have overdone it a bit this Christmas. Thank you. Genuinely your Christmas. That's very nice of you to say so, Kit. Thank you very much. Something which does occur to me, I don't know. I may be mistaken. Does anybody know if anybody else has ever put a Christmas album out with only originals on? Because here's my thing about Christmas albums. I like it when people do Christmas albums because I like it when they sort of, embrace that whole silliness end of things and, talk about various bands who should do a Christmas album. I would donate body parts to hear The Cure's Christmas album. I think The Cure could do a Christmas album because Robert Smith is just about silly enough. And also, The Cure are a very unfairly misjudged band. I mean, they're generally regarded as these sort of complete goth miserablists, but they've written some of the happiest songs in the English language. Friday I'm in Love is just utterly blissful, just like Heaven Again, utterly blissful. I would love to hear The Cure's Christmas album. But one thing about Christmas albums, and some fairly unlikely people have done them. Billy Idol did one, Bob Dylan did one. My main problem with Christmas albums is that maybe Kate Rusby, you think Kate Rusby's done a Christmas album consisting entirely originals? I may have to check that one out. My main problem with Christmas albums is everybody does the same bloody songs. I really don't know if we need, another half dozen versions of Chestnuts Roasting on an Open Fire every December. That's the thing, they all sing the same bloody songs as everybody else. So just once it would be really good if we had We Wish You a Hairy Christmas. Who's that by, Simon? Is that the Hairy Bikers? Was it Cara Dillon's Christmas show last night? Very different versions and songs. It's a metal compilation, right? Okay, cool. But is it a metal compilation? Because I know that I've heard Thea Gilmore's what's it called? There's one, I guess it's Christmas, one that has a nice sort of Joe DeLuise reference. Yeah. My version of The Cure's "A Spaceman Came Traveling." I don't like that song. Like you is not a measurement of time, Chris. Anyway, I'm sorry. I'm such a bloody pedant. That song just puts me off with the second line. It's like, it's not a light year, it's not a measurement of time. And also, it's just like, it's that'll be Christmas. That's what it's called. Yes. H.P. Lovecraft Society did a very scary solstice. Excellent. Okay, we'll do this one. This needs new strings. In our busy modern world, it's easy to forget what Christmas really ought to be about. It's getting hard to focus on the things that really count when there's always someone getting all devout. So remember as you sing your carols or as you go to church, a truth that's too important to ignore. The true meaning of Christmas is eat until it hurts, then drink until it don't hurt anymore. We don't have a problem with goodwill to all men, well, goodwill perhaps to most of them at least. And peace on earth's a great idea, we're gonna want some sleep. After all this food, okay, bring on the peace. So don't let all the piety and buncombe cloud your mind to a truth that's too important just to see. The true meaning of Christmas is eat 36 mince pies, then pass out while Moonraker's on TV. There you go. Yeah, I like that one as well. Shall we do the first Christmas song I ever wrote? Well, certainly the first funny Christmas song I ever wrote. This was, I think, probably one of the first songs I wrote for the Now Show. Because I joined the Now Show in the middle of '99, and it had already been on for a year. And it was a couple of other guys were doing the songs in the first season of the Now Show. And they took a bunch of weeks off in season 2 because then they had other stuff to do. And they just brought me in to fill in for them. And then evidently I did it better than them because I did not leave the Now Show. They stopped asking me back. It was not my decision. It was not my choice to leave the Now Show. I'm not that sorry that I'm not on it anymore for the simple reason that I think I was on it too long. I think in retrospect, I think I stayed on it too long. I was on it for like 17 years, which is way too long to do anything. And I think, there's other stuff I probably would have done had it not been for A, the kind of the ongoing security of the Now Show, and B, the ongoing commitment to the Now Show. I think I probably should have done about 10 years and then back. Again, it wasn't Button Dennis's decision either. It was not Stephen Hughes' decision either. One of the troubles of being in radio comedy is there are really only, and to a certain extent, the podcast era has challenged this to a degree, which is there are now other places to do audio comedy. You can now do audio comedy, basically entirely off your own bat and stick it up as a podcast and see if anybody wants it. There's sitcoms and stuff. I've been in one of them, one called Slaving Away, which Miranda Kane wrote about being a sex worker. I turned up in season 1 in various parts, and I turned up in season 3, I think, playing her dad, which was quite fun. But yes, so there's more places to do audio comedy now. But if you want to do radio comedy, there's really only 1.5 channels that do it, which is Radio 4 and very occasionally Radio 2. Radio 2 keeps changing its mind about whether or not it wants to do comedy. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. And what that means is, because of the kind of the commissioning structure, there's kind of about really 2 or 3 people who make all the decisions about what gets on and what doesn't. And if one of those people just doesn't like you for whatever reason, then that's it. You're not doing radio comedy. You can essentially be completely blacklisted. You just don't get on. And without getting too specific, I think that's kind of where I am. But I don't actually regret. My only real regret is I missed doing the show. Doing the show was fun. I'll be honest. Doing the show was a great way of spending a Thursday. It was fun. Going into town, hanging out in the radio theater, getting a great plate of Pret sandwiches, reading through, doing all the sound effects and, prepping everything and then letting the punters in and doing it. That was a really good way of spending it. I used to really enjoy doing the show. And that is why I don't listen to the show these days. It's not out of any kind of bitterness. It's just that it makes me sad listening to them and having fun without me. It's a bit like turning up to the wedding of the ex you totally never got over. I miss doing the show, and it's not fun listening to them carrying on having fun without me. So this has all gotten a bit glum and introspective for the Christmas show, hasn't it? But yes, Bad Week, that was good fun. But Bad Week was kind of a victim of a tendency, which was that we were talking about a song for Chris Charlie doing his first Christmas speech of waiting all these years and blowing it. That's not a bad idea. It's maybe more of a sketch, but yes. Club Expectancy to Charlie a Perfect Christmas, says Simon, sharing rather more about his Christmas than perhaps he intended. That's not a bad idea. I do have an idea for a Christmas song, you see it. But yeah, King Charles, that may be there. I cannot get used to King Charles. As far as I'm concerned, King Charles is a dog with floppy ears. Anyway, right, how are we doing for time here? Oh, we're nearly done. We've got time for maybe one, maybe two more. All right, I'm going to do this. Yeah, I was in the middle of queuing this up and then I got totally distracted. This is the first Christmas song I wrote, and it's on the album Radio Face, and it's also on the Christmas album, and it's just, well, it's kind of self-explanatory. Christmas time, let the choir sing and the church bells chime. Now 8 mince pies and a red malt wine. Do you get the picture? It's Christmas time. Let the treetops glisten and the sleigh bells jingle. I'm putting out this Christmas sing a little for you everywhere you go, till you want to smash your radio. It's Christmas time. It's Christmas time. Here to mention it was Christmas time. I have to keep saying it's Christmas time, 'cause nothing rhymes with Christmas time. And in the second verse, I guess the time is right to say I hope that Christmas will be white, though it hasn't snowed a Christmas since 1962, and nobody in the right mind wants it to. It's Christmas time. It's Christmas time. And oh boy, I'm glad it's Christmas time, 'cause no one would buy this mawkish slime at any other time but Christmas time. And now we shift into a minor key to mention those less fortunate than we. But the most important thing we mustn't forget is, why haven't you bought this single yet? And though I know this song will be starting to grate, just give it a month, it'll be out of date. But you haven't had the last of it, have no fear. Gonna re-release it year after year after year after year. It's Christmas time. It's Christmas time. And the royalties will do me fine. Now all year round you can be sure I'm cashing in on Christmas time. Cashing in on Christmas time. Stay cashing in on Christmas time. That's the one. That's really the only Christmas song I needed to write, isn't it? Let's face it. That's kind of every Christmas single and none. Sharing on Mastodon. Go there. I am actually on Mastodon, but I haven't really paid it that much attention yet, largely because Twitter has not yet entirely evaporated the way we all thought it was going to. So until it does, I'll still be predominantly on Twitter, I think. But I have got a Mastodon account. I just haven't really done anything with it yet. Right, you guys. It's coming up on 45 minutes, but we'll do one more, okay? You guys have been lovely. I'm hoping the tour is all but over. I've got one tour date between now and Christmas, and it's this Saturday in London at the Museum of Comedy. So those of you in the Southeast, if you can make that, it would be lovely to see you there this Saturday. After that, we've got one in Cheltenham in January, which is just kind of straight, just kind of tilted over into the next year. Then we've got the Leicester date, which was going to be part of the first run, but we moved it back to February, so it's now part of the Leicester Comedy Festival, which is really where it should always have been. And then we've got the Leeds one, which fell off the radar and has now been put back all the way to April, which is going to be a bit weird because by April I'm going to have to be writing the next one. So that'll do. All right, let's end with this, shall we? By the way, this one refers to it's something I say every year, which is, those of you know, I am not a religious man in any sense of the word. I'm increasingly tolerant of it, to be perfectly honest, because while I have kind of generally set my store against magical thinking in all things, I think the priority right now is people who are applying magical thinking to this world rather than people who are applying magical thinking to the next one. They, if anything, are altogether more of a worry. But I have been told over the years that the fact that I'm not a believer in anything like this means that I shouldn't be going around calling it Christmas. I should be restricting myself to the happy holidays and the season greetings of the world. And first of all, happy holidays doesn't really work in Britain because that's not what the word holidays means over here. We hear the word holidays, we think of buckets and spades. So, that's just kind of not what it really means. And also, season's greeting looks good on a card, but would you say that to someone? But here's the thing, it's perfectly okay to call it Christmas. This festival's had many, many years over the millennia, and this is as good a name as any other. And yes, okay, it's named after Jesus now, but that doesn't mean that that's the only thing it means. Everything is named after something. Most things in the calendar are named after some deity or another. And the fact that this is a deity that some people still worship doesn't make this name any more, formative than any of the others, any more sort of, determinate than any of the others. So here's the rule. If only Christians are allowed to call it Christmas, then only Vikings are allowed to call it Thursday. Call it Christmas, everyone. Call it Grimbo, call it Yule, call it Noel. If it helps it go well, it doesn't matter, long as it's cool. Call it Idolata, if it rather, or the festival of the unconquered sun. Call it Kwanzaa if anybody wants to. It's not important, long as it's fun. It's not the name that matters, it's not the name that counts. Just that old piece of nothing and food in large amounts. Just call the day whenever you are now it is here. Let's just have fun together, just one day each year. Call it Christmas, all the feast of Stephen. Even that well, surely no. Call it Hanukkah, invent your own new moniker. And I wish you merry. What do you? Have a great Christmas if Christmas is something you do. If you do something else, have a great one of those. And if you're not planning on doing anything, have a good time doing nothing. And if I don't see you in the meantime, I hope you have a really good rest of the year, and I'll see you all in January.